what I mean? And I just happened to be the one that was good in my camp, in my circle. So anytime we used to go to parties and that, and it was like open mic time and they used to run the rhythms, I'm the one going through the crowd, the short one, like through the afro, going to the mic, shelling everyone, yeah, Konan, your time, your time.
Today I'm going to be chopping it up with someone who is a chart-topping act, TV host of a really successful TV show, just an all-round talent. We have Konan. You always bring the noise, you always bring the talent, and you're an inspiration. So
thank you, appreciate that.
Yeah, you like that? It's
yeah,
sweet,
like
you know? It's sweet, you know?
Come on, little young big ups.
No, it's important. I have always, from the moment I met you, we've had conversations and you've always pulled out the bag exactly what you said you were going to do. And I think that we kind of lose the importance of that in the very fast life that we live in, like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and things get lost in the moment.
Yeah.
I'd like to go back and speak to you about early beginnings, humble beginnings, coming from a place where people don't make it out. And I know it sounds really dramatic, but in reality, it's the truth, you know, let alone to come out to become the rapper. Like, how do we make that happen? Where does Konan come from?
For me, I just feel like it just starts with believing in yourself, man. I know it sounds kind of cliche, but like I feel like that's where it starts, man. Like as a kid, like I always wanted to be more than just normal. And I feel like my family played a big part in that. Like my dad was a reggae singer, famous singer, so I feel like that was a bit of a start for me. Like I don't feel like a lot of people have that in their life where they can see someone that's actually famous. And as a kid, when you're going around, like, you look like your dad's on the radio and stuff like that. So I feel like for me, that helped a lot with the dream. And to be fair, and I don't feel like I've said this in the interview, I feel like it's a lot of like just watching films as a kid, like Disney films and shit like that. Like that helped. I feel like imagination played a big part in me dreaming and always feeling like I can do bigger than what's in front of you. You know, like when you watch them shows and the little kid goes in the garden and he's the one that sees the elves. Yeah. I always wanted to be that kid. Like, I always wanted to be the kid that discovered the pot at the end of the rainbow. Like, I wanted to be that kid from down the road, from the ends, you get me? And as well as man's dad being who he was, so.
Where you came from, like the area you came from, wasn't an affluent background.
No.
So how did you access the tools that you needed to start to be the artist? Because studio's expensive, right?
Yeah.
Tools, mics, etc. Anything that you want, it's not cheap. Traveling to and from studio, like these are all things that come with a cost. How did you manage to pull that all together?
Like when I was growing up, it was a lot of like, I was involved in a lot of street things and like that's where my mind was at. Like the music thing was secondary. It's like, yeah, we do music because everybody does music. You know what I mean? Like everyone's got a 16 bar, everybody's got bars, raps, going to the shubs, grabbing the mic. You know what I mean? And I just happened to be the one that was good in my camp, in my circle. So anytime we used to go to parties and that, and it was like open mic time and they used to run the rhythms, I'm the one going through the crowd, the short one, like through the afro, going to the mic, shelling everyone, yeah, Konan, your time, your time.
And that was Dipset, right?
Yeah, that was the Dipset era. So like, I was the one that everyone would come and look for. When it's, like, I could be winding up a gal to a Beanie Man or something, and as soon as they switch it to the grime or the garage, it's like, where's Konan? I'm like, yo, what on? Like, yo, it's time, brother. Like, you're representing arting. Like, you're the man of arting. So that's what kind of gave me the first confidence of like going on a mic and spitting bars. And that's why I met Reds and like from Gypsy Hill. And that's kind of where then obviously me and Crep through that. And then that's how the kind of pattern started.
Okay, so you and Crep met each other. You lot didn't go to school together, weren't family friends?
No. We met through other man them. Obviously, his brother, we're all from this, like, Gypsy Hill, everyone was linked up. And then I'm on a bus with him one time, and I remember, I was going through his phone one time, it was like a Pearl Drop, old school. And I've got in his voice note, in his recordings, I don't know why I was going in there, but I must have been playing it, and I was like, heard someone bars, and you get me, like, boy, get Sabo, jump on his back like a piggy bank saddle. I'm like, bro, who's this? He's like, that's me. I'm like, bro, you're hard, you know? He's like, you reckon, yeah? I'm like, no, you're hard, bro. Then I've hit Reds, like, bro, Crep's hard. He's like, was he hard? Yeah, I'm like, yeah, now man needs to bring Creps in. You get me? And that was how we kind of became a trio, and it was like, yeah, that was the man them, like that's who the bars was.
I always find it crazy how people get to that moment, you know, like that you actually find out that you're good.
yeah.
Because you have to have the moment where you might be shit.
Yeah. I hate you. But he was practicing though. You see, it was like, he was practicing. He was definitely test running his thing. He was test running and I happened to hear it, you get it? And yeah, it was me, Reds and Crep, and that's how the thing kind of started.
Okay, and there were some darker times, and through those darker times, you were able to emerge the artist that you are now. I don't know how much you want to speak on that. You spoke about it a lot in your music.
You know what? To be fair, when I really thought we could do this thing, it was like when I went to jail, and then I think I was on a wing, and I remember everyone talking about gigs is opening up for Lil Wayne. And for me, I was like, what, Lil Wayne? Like, what? When I come out, yeah, it's on now. Like, man are doing American supports and that. Like, for us, that was crazy in the kind of, like, you're hearing Ends and I'm hearing Lil Wayne and I'm hearing, like, big stage, like, I think it was in Stratford Rex at the time, I think. And I'm hearing that, I'm like, that was inspiring to me. I'm like, yo, I was gassed. I'm like, I'm ready to come out. I'm writing my brethren from jail. Like, yo, when I come out of jail, bro, I'm not doing the grime thing. I'm doing the rap thing. Like,
that must have been the longest double-sided paper.
Yeah, bro, I was like the return of the champion. Watch this, da 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 da. And then we're in the can, and then we're listening to Tim Westwood and Chip's on there, and they're like, yeah, Chipmunk and Ice Kid, and I'm like, bro, I'm with Bouncer. Me and Bouncer's banged up, so I'm saying, bro, who's these youths? Like, and I'm listening to them bars, and he's like, I'm the grime scene savior. I'm like, I can spin these youths. Nah, I'm not Westwood, yeah? Like, I'm gassing myself. I'm hearing Gigs, I'm hearing Chip, I'm hearing Ice Kid. I'm like, bro, the scene's moving. Like, for me, I never ever took it serious. Like, obviously, I always believed I wanted to be something when I was telling you earlier, but when you go on the roads, that kind of fizzles out. For me, I feel like that was an eye-opener because you're in jail, you're with different people from different areas, and you're hearing all these things happening on the streets and on the radio, and you're like, yo, like, these things actually can happen, like.
I just think it's crazy how you found in so many different adversities in your journey a way to make a bit of magic. Because it's really easy to live in the moment. I always say that you should go and feel the full spectrum of emotions, depression, upset, anger, rage, and happiness and all of those as well. I'm not just trying to make people sad, but often it's really easy to live there. But somehow you've been able to climb out and just been like, actually, you know what? I'm gonna make something out of this. And I just feel like that's really inspirational. Were there any moments where you're just like, I can't do this anymore?
After Tsunami come out, we done the little iTunes, #2, etc. And then winning OMA, then like that, just after that, a situation happened with my stepdad and ended up getting killed and mum getting shot and etc. And I feel like that time was when it was like, yo, like forget everything. You know what I mean? Like there was a stage I remember, like I had been out of my house for about 3 months, I think it was, and I was going to get my clothes. So they let me come back, it was a murder scene, so they let me come back and get some bits and bobs because I was in the same tracksuit for about 4 months, 3 months. And they've let me take some bits and I put in the back of the van, and I remember driving my cousin to his house because I was staying at his at the time. And then I remember we was driving and then like I could feel a breeze on the back of my neck and I'm like, oh, what's that? So we've looked in the rear view and the back of the van's bust open. So all my stuff gone. We drove around the block 3-4 times, everything was missing. So like, I feel like for me, that was a breaking point because like, I just went 4 months without none of my stuff. Obviously at the same time, my stepdad was dead, my mum was shot. My whole family was scared to be around me. I'd be outside my cousin's house. She's telling my other cousin, get him out of here. We've got kids here, get him out of here. He's dangerous, get him out of here. Like no one wanted to be around me. So I was holding that inside me and trying to, you get me, like stay normal. But then when I lost all my clothes and stuff, like for me that was breaking point. I remember I went there and I just broke down. Like I'll be honest, like God don't put you through things you can't handle. And it was like, it only tests like the strong. So that kind of gave me a booster and like mentally like, it's like, bro, like you're still here, like you could be dead, like man up kind of thing. Like, bro, like there's more to come. Like if you didn't go through this, like what story would you tell when you make it through the other side? Do you get what I'm saying? And it kind of got me like, you know what? Let me just keep going and keep pushing. So
you've then gone through a massive life transition,
yeah.
a fully fledged breakdown. What was the moment where you was like, right, we're heading to the studio, I'm doing some damage today.
And we was outside my friend Luke's house. We used to call him Frets back then, but now he goes as Luke. He's in Disciples, and we How Deep Is Your Love.
Okay.
So back then he wasn't doing house. So we was outside his house, and he was like, "Bro, you lot need to do the Otis thing." And it was like, I was like, "Bro, what's the Otis thing?" And he's like, "Right, you seen it, the Jay-Z thing, like with Kanye?" And I think we was in his car park, and we was sitting in the car, and he's like, "Oh, you and Crep, we should do it. It would be hard, like going back to back, like bars." And I'm like, "Alright, can we do it? Innit? Fuck it, like, can we do it? Like, I'm on it. Like, why not?" Alright, cool. So we did that, and then Crep's like, "Well, I want to remix this paranormal thing that I got, like." So he wants to get bare people on it. And I'm like, "Well, you reckon?" I'm like, "Yeah, do it, innit?" Then I've done my verse last. So if you hear it, I'm talking about the situation that's happened in the verse, but people didn't know at the time what I was talking about. So we've done that, and then we've done Otis. And we're like, "Alright, cool, we'll do Otis first, and then that will lead into the Paranormal Activity remix." Then Press Play, who shot it, Danny Streets now, he's doing his thing, big up Danny, he went missing. So I was on him, like, bro, like, threatening him bare that, like, at the time, I was going through it, innit, and this was my only kind of escape. So it was like, "Well, where's Danny at?" Boom, he appeared on my birthday randomly. "Yo, I got the video."
Our birthday?
Yeah, our birthday.
Oh no,
yeah.
yours is day after, right?
Yeah. So he's like, "Yo, I got the video." And he's giving it to man, and the slow motion that man wanted, it was like, it was static. It was like, it weren't the proper slow motion. So I'm badding him like, "Bro, you disappeared to give man some meaty slow motion type thing, you get me?" Like when we're jumping off the little stairs. Whatever, man, we're putting it out anyway. I didn't have a phone at the time, so Crep's just giving me the ins and outs of what's going on Twitter. We've put it out on my birthday. Fuck it, just put it out, boom. Boom, it's gone mad viral, like. My phone just blowing up. I'm like, "What's going on?" I'm trying to just be my birthday. I'm just trying to enjoy it, even though I'm going through wherever I'm going through, I'm trying to enjoy it. My phone's just going off like it was mental. I remember staying at Luke's house that night, because he's the one that told us to do it anyway, but we went out, done a little bowling, tried to take my mind off, obviously, the situation. Woke up in the morning, we got like 2.9 million views in one day. Like, I think Crep's phone me like, yo, bro, look at the YouTube. I'm like, "Oh, what's going on?" I'm all hangover, I'm looking. I'm like, "Right, is that real?" I'm saying, first thing I said, "You screenshot it? Like, do you screen munch it?" Because that was the
screen
vibes
munch,
then.
yeah.
"You screen munch it?" "Brother, I got the screen munch, bro. It's lidge. I'm waking up, Fret's kicking him. Like, "Bro." He's like, "What's the matter, bro?" I'm like, "Bro, man's got 2.9 million views, bro." He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Bro, the thing's gone crazy." Like, and for me, that moment there was like, everything that just happened before that didn't exist.
And then there was still some, so like you've gone through all of that to get to that moment, and then
Yeah.
some people in the industry were like, "Nah, these lot fake their views."
Yes. I feel like we was the first to get this internet beef, the internet trolling. Like, we're the first. Like, I feel like the first moment of, "Nah, you didn't do this," and everything's viral when, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, like, people are like, "You faked it." Like, and for me, I'm like, bro, I'm wearing the same clothes for like 4 or 5 months, bro. Like, I ain't even got a phone. How do you think we know how to do that up on the streets, bro? What are you talking about faking views? I didn't even know you could do that. Like, remember, YouTube's not been out that long, you know? So it's like, how do you think we've learned to just do that out of everybody else? Don't make no sense. So you're gonna get whatever you're gonna get. You're gonna get the backlash. Going into little shops and that, people are playing it. I remember Bangles has shouted us like that same week, I feel like, and we've ended up going to Bangles' studio. This is the first time we've linked up with Bangles. Man's met Bangles, and then we're staying at the studio making songs at Bangles' now. So we're rolling with Bangles and going into shops, and random people are just playing Otis on their computer. And we're like, right, this is real. Like, this is real. Like, going into a car garage to go and get something, and he spun the computer, and then like, "Huh, you're the guys?" And people are like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was real. It was mad. We was getting phone calls from like Universal, like in America, and Warner in America, and it was surreal. Like, in Bangles studio, man's phone just popping off. Like, yo, it was crazy.
So you're going through all of this, that's a mixture of emotions, like up, down.
Yeah.
And then there's a moment where you get your first check.
Yeah.
What was that first check, and how did that come about?
Long story short, we've linked up with another producer called ADP, and he's like, "Oh, can we just make some songs? We want to make a mixtape." We're like, "Yeah, whatever." Then me and Kreps had the conversation, and it's like, "All right, we're just gonna make whatever we want to make," because the labels is telling us to make this, that, and a third. Then other people's like, "Nah, man, I don't feel like they've got it in them. They're like presenters, like they're funny, like and Deck, like they're not music guys, like they should just go into presenting type of thing." So it's like, all right, cool, fuck what everyone else is on.
They're saying Ant and Deck.
Yeah, they're calling him an Ant and Deck, so it's like, oh, they're like, put a guitarist in the group and we'll sign you, like an N-Dubs type thing. So we're like, all right, fuck all that. let's just make something that we like, and then like, fuck it, let's make the music we make. So we ended up making Young Kings. Put out Young Kings, found funding ourselves and etc. Ended up putting that out. That got a Guinness World Record, highest charting independent album ever. And that's when the check come. So then now the labels want to have a conversation, and it's like, how are these guys in the charts and we don't know who they are? What we need them. So we're having meetings, etc. Boom, won the mobile. Like it was like everything, the ball started rolling for us. It was like, yeah, boom, we're in. Then one of the songs is connected somehow virally again, and the Americans are talking about Don't Waste My Time, and they want to link, man.
And when you're negotiating that album deal, it's the same as like any business deal, right? You're going in there and it's a bit harder because you're the product. And it's hard to know what your value is, because even though you know you're doing all these numbers, how do you quantify the number? So how was that for you lot, like going in and sitting with the record label and saying, we want this?
I'll be honest with you, that was like the hardest part of our career, and it's had a domino effect. Like I feel like it's taught us a lot. Like remember, the game was in such a mad turmoil, like so many people been dropped at that time. And the radio, like back then the radio ran the music. So it's like whatever the radio was saying they're gonna play and champion, that's what's happening. So at the time the radio was like, yeah, we're done with the grime thing. They're not connecting, we're gonna go back to bands. So when we're getting signed now, the labels are basing what we're gonna do in the future off of what people have done in the past. So it's like, yeah, the grime thing was here for 5 minutes, so we think they deserve this. And then when we're sitting down with the lawyer's like, sign it. Don't matter what it is, just sign it, because they're not signing no one. Just take the check, take the money, just sign it. Like it was a bit pressure-ish, and I'm like, why is he like pressuring me like that? Like I didn't really like that. And I'll be honest, I've never told this story before, and I feel like I'm just gonna say it because I feel like you should know. Anyway, before we signed the deal, I was a bit off on it, and because the pressure was a bit much, it was like, sign it. And I remember speaking to my old manager, right? And if I'm lying, I'm flying. He's phoned me, and we're in the studio, and I put him on loudspeaker, old manager, and he's like, yeah, like, what are you lot thinking about the deal? We're like, yeah, we want to sign it, but we want to wait and see what happens. And like, on God, Shams, yeah, his voice changed in like a demon's voice. Sign the deal, sign it now, sign it. I got so shook, I threw my phone on the floor. If I'm lying, I'm flying, wallahi. And me and Crep just staring at the phone on the floor like, what the fuck? His voice just changed into like a gremlin. And all he kept saying is, sign the deal, sign the deal, sign the deal. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like I dropped the phone and stepped back like this, and we're just staring at the phone for about 3 minutes. Like, I'm like, did you hear that, bro? He's like, yeah, bro, like, what the fuck's that? Like, that's mad. So I picked up the phone and I phoned back my manager, like, yo, bro, like, what happened to your voice, bro? He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, bro, your voice changed, bro. He's like, what are you talking about? So from then I was a bit, this is a bit funny. Ended up signing the deal anyway, but I was like 5 hours late. They still signed it. I was a bit skeptical. If you watch the video back, my face is a bit like, it's a bit weird. I don't know if I was overthinking it.
Yeah, but you probably would have been overthinking it, because when a contract comes, it's like, that's a very scary, we've heard so many horror stories, number one. This is your life because it is you. It's not like it's just like, oh, I'm gonna sign over, I don't know, a bottle or whatever it is. This is me. I'm signing the rights to me, basically. And all I've worked for and my way out. So it means a lot to you, you know? So you're sitting there and you're reading through this. You now don't really feel your manager, because
bro,
it's been a really spooky moment.
It was spooky, bro. I'm not gonna lie. It's one of the spookiest things I've ever seen and heard and was involved in. Do you get it? And the lawyer was very like, he just wanted man to sign it. Because obviously, you know the lawyers, they get their commission and whatnot, so.
So you and Krept are super worksy.
Yeah.
Like, whilst you were signed, I think most people think the same thing they think when they start a business or they sign a contract at a label, that you sign and then that's it, everything's handed to you. But you lot didn't operate like that. You lot were out there contacting people, boom, I want to work with this person, I want to work with that person. Do you remember calling me when I was with T-Pain? You was like, I want to work with T-Pain. And you lot, like, I don't even know how fast you got there. You got there so quickly. And it's like, I just don't think people are like that. They're just like, oh, my ego, I'm not doing this. Like, what kept you lot in the game even when you were succeeding?
You know what it is? I feel like there's just so much ground to cover and so much to do and so much little time to do it. So with us, I feel like we're just very hands-on. We want it done now. Like, if it can happen now, why not?
And you were never shy about new artists?
Nah.
So a lot of artists in their prime start making radio bangers, and they only want to work with people that are part of the elite. Talk to me about Abracadabra. You know, like.
You know what it is with that, yeah. With me and Crep, I feel like music's music, innit? And I would never ever feel like just because you're not clouty, like we can't make a hit together. You know what I mean? And it's all about the music at the end of the day. Do you get what I'm saying? Because Michael Jackson wasn't always top tier Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Drake wasn't always top tier Drake. You get me? And they've been making bangers this whole time. So it's just about if the song's right and the music's right and I feel your vibe, like we'll do it. Like there's no oh nah, like you're a little fish for me. Like what like.
Who was the artist that you felt like out of everyone that you felt like, oh my God, we've actually done something major. We've worked with this artist.
To be honest with you, working with Rick Ross was like a wow moment for me because like that was the first concert I went to was Rick Ross concert.
So he's like, this is it.
Yeah, so when we walk in the studio and he's like, yo, my niggas, like, and doing all that, like, yo, you the hardest shit I've heard in London. Like, it was sick.
Like,
yeah, come on. And like, yo, this shit hard, this certified shit, this is hard. Like, man's saying, yo, man's telling him, yo, add some ad-libs, bro. He's like, what do you want me to say? Like, yo, that. And doing like, and certified and gassing up. You're like, yo, this is rose, this is hard. Like, you know what I'm saying? That was a moment for me. Like, because I'm a fan of the music, so that was a moment for me. And to be fair, there's a lot of artists that I met and I thought, yeah, this is dope. Like Ed Sheeran, working at Ed Sheeran, coming to the booth and knocking out my quick Tory Lanez and how fast he works. It's just like working with artists and seeing how fast they work and how good they are and how they believe in their thing. Like, yeah, I got 30 songs, I got like 40 songs. I'm sitting on like 40 songs. Like, yeah, I just knocked out 20 songs yesterday. And you're like, yo, like.
I need to get back in the booth.
Yeah, like for me, like even Wiz, when we first done a song with, we done a song with, I think 2016. And he's like, yeah, I just done like 50 songs. But yeah, man, just working with all the artists and seeing how they are and just hearing stories from their point of view and how they're dealing with the industry.
And then it's more than music, because you lot have travelled outside of music into entrepreneurship as well.
Yeah.
Opening Crep and Cones obviously was a big deal.
Yeah.
You lot actually made music transpire into a restaurant business.
Yeah.
How did you come to decide that you lot were going to do that?
Crep tweeted that idea, like, yeah, they'll be sick if we had a restaurant with Creps and Cons. And like, everyone's retweeting it and it's like,
shit, we about to do this.
Yeah, yo, Combs, what you saying? I'm like, bro, you know I'm on whatever, my guy. Let's go. Like, scared money don't make no money. The idea is genius. Let's go.
So, aside from those things, you have a number of other ventures, such as...
We got an agency behind the scenes. Ain't really launched that, so don't really want to talk about it. But we got something behind the scenes that people don't know it's us, but it's us. Yeah, we got the TV show. We got the foundation that we have with the kids in the schools. We was going and teaching them music production, songwriting, and we was doing it after schools to keep them off the streets and stuff like that. So we was doing that. We've done that with Stanley Tech. It's called Harris Academy now, so Crep's old school, we was in there. Obviously, now we got Rap Game. We got new music coming out.
Can't wait.
I'm trying to think what else there is.
I feel like that is a lot. That's enough. And I'm interested to know how you split your time up to actually conquer all of these huge mountains that you probably take for granted as being normal, but they are all individually huge things that you're doing.
How do we split the time up? You know what it is? You just got to just do it all, man. I feel like one time I was in a meeting with my old head of label, and he was like, yeah, where's the music, man? And I was like, bro, we got X, Y, Z going on. He said, bro, Elton John's got X, Y, going on. What are you complaining about? I was like,
ooh.
Yeah, big Elton John, you know. I had to just hold my corner. Yeah. I said, nah, it's big. And that's the kind of level man's trying to reach, like that GOAT level there. So if he's got X, Y, and Z going on and he was doing the music as well, like, why am I complaining?
Okay, and you've come a real long way from your humble beginnings.
100.
If you were to speak to young Konan and give some advice, or if you had someone who could give advice to you then, what would it have been?
Don't worry as much, man. I feel like when I was younger, I was so worried about not winning and like not getting to where I want to be in life. I feel like that was a big anxiety for me. You know what I mean? Like I've been homeless and going through all of that, there was always that like thought in my head that this can go left. Like you're not exempt from bad things happening to you. You know what I mean? And I feel like that situation for me made me realize I'm not invincible. And it can end badly. So for me, like, chasing a dream, like, it was like, yeah, I need to chase the dream because that was the thing that kept me from worrying about bad things happening to me. Don't worry, man. Like, things are not all bad and it will go well.
And who is Konan?
Who's Konan? It's a young guy from Fort Neath, man. You know what I'm saying? Young GOAT, young legend.
Hey.
Somebody that I feel like when I'm done with this journey, they're gonna write about.
And finally, we're getting another album?
Yeah, 100%. We're basically
When?
like 95,
When?
we're 97% finished on the album.
So I've got a name drop from Crept. Any name drops from Cones on the new album?
Did he give you a name drop? You're capping.
Shout out.
He didn't give you the name. Did he give you the name? He didn't give you the name.
Hey.
We got a name. To be finished, we got the name.
I said, are you going to drop my name?
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Look, you forgot.
Now, you know what, Shams, yeah? That, like, I'm going back into the booth. I feel like I got one more song I want to edit, so I might just slam you in there.
There you go. Pow, pow.
Come on,
you lot, yeah, witnesses. Anyway, you know, sometimes you've got to go for the struggle. You've got to go for it. You've got to put people on the spot and get your name in the songs. I didn't do it the first time. Didn't struggle a lot the first time, but now we're here. But aside from that, what does the future hold?
Just more greatness, man. The States is the next step for us. I feel like that's the next chapter in the Crept and Konan stories.
And a bit of Africa, right?
You know, 1,000,000% Africa. Like, the world is artist, or like, if you don't even know what we look like, you've heard of Crept and Konan before, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a TV show, whether it's the Euros, you see me? Wherever it is.
Out here.
Outside.
And if not, you've definitely attended a lit PD party.
Yeah, of course, this is my point. So we're covering all ground. So, oh yeah, and I forgot about that. Yeah, we do play dirty parties as well, yeah. I knew there was something was missing.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably more things, but yeah, like the future hold, I feel like we're just expanding the brand, man, and taking it where it's not been taken before.
Hey, we love to hear it. Shall we toast to that?
Come on.
Hey.
That way.